اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله، صلى الله عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، صلى الله عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، صلى الله عليك يا حسن المجتبى، صلى الله عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، صلى الله عليك يا مذلوم يا غريب يا شهيد ويا عطشان كربلاء. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله عبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأحد مني لزيارتكم. All together. السلام على الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. Brothers and sisters, take your hearts to Karbala. This Muharram, we've had the opportunity to remember Abi Abdullah. We don't know whether we'll have the opportunity next year. So let this Muharram be the shifa'ah you need on the Day of Judgment, where Fatima al-Zahra can save you. Try and connect with the musibah that we're going to recite tonight. Which musibah? This musibah is such a great musibah, the musibah of the aftermath of the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah. And at the center of this musibah, there is one lady, Zainab Salamullah alayha. She is at the center of this musibah, of the aftermath of the martyrdom of Hussein. There is one person whose heart breaks when he hears the musibah of Zainab. In Ziyarat Nahiya, Sahib Zaman says, وَلَا أَبْكِيَنَّ عَلَيْكَ بَدَلُ دموعي دماء, and I will cry blood for you instead of tears. One alim had a dream. In his dream he saw Sahib Zaman. He said, Sayyidi, you say this in Ziyarat Nahiya. Which Masaib do you cry blood for? Is it the musibah of Abul Fadl al-Abbas? Sahib Zaman says, no, this musibah is great, but it is not this musibah. Is it the musibah of Akbar? No, it hurts my heart, but it is not this musibah. Is it the musibah of the baby of Hussein? No, this musibah breaks my heart, but it is not this musibah. He says, is it the musibah of Abu Abdullah? Sahib Zaman says, I cannot bear this musibah, but this is not the musibah I cry blood for. So the alim asked, which musibah is it? He would say, Ammati Zainab, my auntie Zainab's musibah I cry blood for. What happened to Zainab on Ashura? Listen to what Zainab has to say. They say after Abu Abdullah's head is taken off of his body, the enemies begin to loot the body of Abu Abdullah. One enemy comes and takes his amama, another comes and takes his sword, another takes his armor. Another enemy sees a ring on the finger of Abu Abdullah. He tries to remove this ring. He cannot remove the ring, so he cuts the finger of Abu Abdullah. Another enemy comes. He takes the shirt of Abu Abdullah. One of the mal'ooneen say, I wanted to humiliate Hussein. I went for the undergarments of the body of Abu Abdullah. As soon as I touched the undergarments, Hussein's right hand grabbed me and he would not let me go. So I cut the right hand of Hussein. I went to the other side trying to take the undergarments off. Hussein's left hand grabbed me. I cut the left hand of Abu Abdullah. And then I tried again. The ground of Karbala started to shake. I fell unconscious. When I opened my eyes, I saw Amirul Mu'mineen. I saw Fatima al-Zahra. I saw Imam al-Hasan. I saw Abi Abdullah. Abu Abdullah tells his mother, Mother, this man cut my arms. Fatima al-Zahra says, May Allah's curses be upon you. May you go blind and lose your limbs. Fatima al-Zahra is with Hussein at all times. Don't think you can reach Hussein without going through Fatima al-Zahra. Now the body of Abu Abdullah is looted. The enemy turned their attention to the Mukhayyam. Zainab just entered the tent of Sajjad. She says, My brother, your father has been killed. Oh, my nephew, your father has been made shaheed. They say in the tent they heard sounds of glass shattering. Sajjad says, My auntie Zainab, what is this sound? You told me the battle is over. Zainab opens the tent. She sees horses running through the plains of Karbala. Listen to how Gharib Abu Abdullah is. Every single shaheed on the day of Karbala, they were made to lie in the center of Karbala for the horses to trample them. But one by one, the enemy came and said, This one is from the tribe of my mother. Don't trample his body. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas had some family from his mother's side in the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad. They took the body of Abu al-Fadl. They say Abu Abdullah was left ghariban wahidayan, lonely and alone. The horses trampled the body of Abu Abdullah. Now the enemy approached the tent. Someone says, I went to Umar ibn Sa'ad to get my reward for the day of Ashura. I told Umar, Nahnu razzazna sadr. I am the one who softened the chest of Hussein, and I mixed the bones in his chest with the bones in his back. The enemy now start to ride towards the tents. The children see the enemy coming. They start to run. Someone says it's like when you break a tasbih and the beads fall on the floor. The children were scattered across the plains of Karbala. The children were running around. They say the daughter of Muslim ibn Aqil was running through the plains of Karbala. An enemy saw jewelry on her. He tried to take the jewelry. She was scared. She's a young girl. She starts to run away from this mal'oon. She trips over a stone. The enemy tramples her alive under the hooves. Another woman is being looted. A young man sees this woman. He recognizes this is his mother. He goes to defend his mother. He's a very small child. He only has a tent pole in his hand. He goes towards the enemy to defend his mother. When Mal'un sees him, they say they cut his body in half as he approached his mother. This is how many musibahs happened in Sham, Ghariba. I am not even mentioning half of them. So many children were killed from the camp of Hussein. They began looting the tents one by one. Zainab says, I saw one man. He was looting the tents, but he was crying. I asked the man, why are you looting and also crying? He said, if I don't loot you, someone else will come and loot you. But I cry because of your ghurba, your loneliness in this land. This man enters the tent of Sajjad. He sees Imam Sajjad sleeping on a leather mat. This is the only thing left in the tent. He says, I don't want to leave empty-handed. He pulls the leather mat from under Sajjad. Imam Zainul Abidin falls onto the floor of Karbala. Then they set fire to the tents. Again the women start to run around the plains of Karbala. Bibi Zainab says, at one moment a man came. He tried to snatch my hijab while they were burning the tents. I tried to keep my hijab on. He was getting frustrated. He took out a whip. He began to lash my face. Again another time, another man approaches Sayyida Zainab. Zainab is now defensive. She is only used to people attacking her. She sees this man riding towards her. She says, oh man, I have nothing left. They've taken everything from me. What more do you want from me? The man has covered his face. He continues riding towards Zainab. Zainab is scared. She picks up whatever she can. The man unveils his face. It is Amirul Mu'mineen. He says, Zainab, you were facing Najaf. You were talking to me. I have come for you, Zainab. Zainab says, Ya Abata, where were you when the hands of Abu al-Fadl were cut? Where were you when the arrow pierced his eye? Where were you when they cut the head of Hussein? Let us remember Sakina. What happened to Sakina? There was a man who was late to loot. He did not find any loot anywhere. He sees a young girl in the distance. He sees her running from place to place. She goes to her aunt one time. She goes to her other aunt another time. She is confused. This man goes towards this girl. He said, there is no loot anywhere. He said, I saw the girl wearing hijab. I snatched the hijab off the girl. He said, I saw earrings on her ears. I asked her take off her earrings. Sakina is a young girl. She says Sakina began to remove her earrings, but she was taking too long. I was getting impatient. I put my hands on her ears. I snatched the earrings from Sakina. Sakina has now a ripped hole in her ears. Zainab says, on the day of Ashura, I lost Sakina 2 times. The first time I lost Sakina was when the tents were being burnt. All of the women and children were running around, but Hussein had entrusted me with one special girl, his Sakina. I was looking for Sakina, I could not find her anywhere. I called out, where are you, Sakina? She says, I heard a voice saying, quiet Zainab, my daughter has just fallen asleep. She says, this was the voice of my brother. I went to the body of Hussein. I saw on the chest of Abu Abdullah there was a young girl sleeping. I woke up Sakina. I said, Sakina, what are you doing? Sakina replied, I wanted to sleep on the chest of my father. But I say, Sakina, how did you recognize the chest of Abu Abdullah? There was no head on the body. The fingers and arms were cut. The body was trampled. The second time Zainab lost Sakina, when they are preparing now to sleep, they have one last night in Karbala before they leave for Kufa. Zainab says, I was doing the head count of the children. Again I see, where has this girl gone now? I see it's in the desert, there is all clear, but in the distance there is a lady. I approach the lady, I say, maybe she has seen Sakina. I approach the lady. As I get closer, I see Sakina is sleeping in her arms. I tell the lady, oh lady, I guarantee paradise for you are looking after the yatim of Hussein. The lady looks at Zainab. Zainab, have you forgotten your mother Fatima Zahra? Have you forgotten your mother? For I am looking after Sakina. The Masaib of Sakina is not over. They say on the way to Kufa, when all of the women and children are being transported, Sakina is still thirsty. She has not drunk any water. Shimar al-La'in brings water for his army. Sakina sees Shimar with water. She approaches Shimar. Shimar says, oh little girl, are you thirsty? Sakina says, al-Ataja العتايش يا عم العباس. Oh my uncle Abbas, I'm thirsty. She tells Shimar, yes, I am thirsty. Shimar says, you can drink water, but you have to wait until my army drink water. He feeds his horses, he feeds his soldiers, then there is some water left. He takes this water to Sakina, but Shimar does not give the water to Sakina. He empties the containers in front of her eyes. Sakina's confused. You told me you'll give me the water, but you spill the water in Karbala. Sakina puts her cheek on the wet sands of Karbala. Why did Fatima al-Zahra look after Sakina? The musibah of Fatima al-Zahra and Sakina have one similarity. There's one similarity between these musibahs. This is why Fatima al-Zahra looked after Sakina. They say when Fatima al-Zahra became Shaheeda, Amirul Mu'min was doing the ghusl of the body of Fatima. One of the companions was waiting outside of the room of ghusl. He says, I heard Amirul Mu'minin cry and wail. I waited until he finished the ghusl. I asked him, Ya Sayyidi, my master, why did you cry when giving ghusl? Amirul Mu'minin says, the body of Fatima al-Zahra had bruises and broken bones that even I did not know about. For there were so many marks on the body of Fatima Fatima al-Zahra in Sham. When Sakina sees the head of her father, she begins to cry. She becomes shaheeda when she sees his head. They say a woman takes her body, she goes and does the ghusl of Sakina. The woman returns and says, how have you treated this young girl? For there is bruises and marks on the body of Sakina that no child should have. I say, oh lady who did ghusl, take yourself to Sham Ghariba, for when Mal'oon raises his hands and slaps the face of Sakina. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.